And hello, everyone. I'm Dan Lutz, and I'm here on the front lines in the battle against the deep state, the cabal, the Illuminati, and all those that wish to enslave all of humanity for their own selfish reasons. Welcome. Well, this is an early broadcast. I kind of talked about this yesterday. I needed to make a trip today, so to go into the big city, Manila, and that will take me a good 2 hours or so to get there. Oh, and it looks like Tank has made it on time. You must have set an alarm.
No, I knew I had this exact window open, so I called exactly now.
Okay. Well, how's it going? I was just telling everyone
I'm talking to the guy on the phone.
Oh, I can
Sorry,
say
man.
it's okay. No, I was just telling people when you came on that I had to take a trip to Manila, so it takes quite a few hours to get there, and then come back. It takes more hours to come back because then I'm already in the middle of traffic. I leave early enough, I'll miss some traffic, maybe save about an hour. Anyway, so what's going on?
Well, I'm actually in the midst of a fast and furious day today, and got all types of meetings that are going to go all the way through midnight. So I'm actually glad. Actually, it's almost 1 in the morning. So I'm glad we set this up early,
Mm-hmm.
and we got some varying reports that are, we're waiting on the feedback to find out if if stuff I can't talk about and can't say on the line right now, but really good stuff. Really good stuff. Sorry, I don't want to be the guy to mess things up. So I'm really hopeful and promising news today from
Don't say anything.
high level sources at Pentagon. Yeah. So, anyways, yeah. So I don't know what's going on in the world. I've been watching Jim Jordan all day. I feel like just slamming different people. I feel like he's everywhere, but he's really not. I think I just happen to be picking up his feed. So I was watching box all the different politicians.
Well, that is good. It does seem like that he is out there slugging away. I would like to see him as Speaker of the House.
Wow, I would too. That would be amazing.
Or Gates, either one of them.
Yeah, and I think they both do a great job. I mean, but they're very clear. I don't think they have the seniority though. I don't think they would have the seniority. I think it would probably end up being someone like
well,
I can't think of who.
It's the guy that's currently the minority leader.
I think he'd end up being the Speaker of the House.
Yeah, and he's a good guy, and I'm drawing a blank on his name. See, and that's one of the reasons, right? It's like that's his name again. It's like it's not Mc. I was saying
McCollum. He is actually he is a good guy. Yeah. I keep wanting to say Mark now, but it's not.
It's with an M. I want to say McCollum. So I can look it up really quick. But that's the thing is like it's Jordan I know, Gates I know because it's how hard hitting they are, right? And that's what I really want.
They're the right people for the job, like to go out and do that. But as a Speaker of the House, I feel like it's more of a political role, and like I do think these other guys would do a great job. There's two other guys I can think of who are there, Republicans, who are both outspoken, very well spoken, but they've been playing the political game a little more, like Jim Jordan is a 4-time All-American or national champion wrestler, right? Like he is a hardcore guy, right? He does everything exactly the way I know every wrestler to be. Like he's hitting, he's coming at you, he's not going to back down, right? And that's exactly how he was when he wrestled.
Yeah.
And Matt Gaetz is really like that too, but Matt Gaetz is like a polished, long time politician. Like he's going to be president someday.
Yeah.
And I think he should. I think either one of them do great in those roles, but I think that's right now the stability that's going to be needed once the Republicans take over the House again. I think one of these old just can't remember their names, but I do like them. I like them a lot.
Yeah, I know. I know what you mean. But anyway, that's kind of along the lines I was thinking. But I've been catching some of his stuff, Jordan stuff, last day, right? And I'm really, I can really see these things that the momentum has changed, and so we're out of the eye of the storm, and we're just like peeking into the winds, and it's just going to start hitting. I'm also picking up on this coronavirus stuff is heading all over the place, and people are talking about it, and I still don't. I think it's just they're just whipping it up to cause more panic because it's a flu. It's just a flu, right? That has a higher death rate among the elderly.
Yeah, it's not a big deal. Chuck, right here. Come here. Give me your hand. Sorry, I'm taking my daughter to tennis.
I thought you were talking to Chuck Schumer.
Schumer, come here. Pay attention. Your time is over. Time to get moving. Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. Did you catch And We Know? Like Serial Brain 2, but the And We Know, they did a broadcast 4 or 5 days ago. That's when I caught it. But he was talking about Chuck Schumer, that Chuck Schumer's wife, and says he's pointing out. I said it's a guy, and he also was pointing
really?
out, yeah, and he's pointing out Bill Gates.
Yeah.
His wife is a guy. Now
really?
Yeah. It's part of your payment to enter the club, right? So they have it's the blackmail material they have on you, it's the stuff that they're gonna, it's your commitment to Baphomet, that kind of thing, to show that you're up is down, down is left is right, right is left, so. It's now it kind of makes sense, and you'll say Bill Gates is in with that crowd. His family is part of the bloodline families, and that with this commitment to use vaccines to sterilize the population of the world, or to kill off 90% of the world.
I have heard that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard rumors of that flying around, Dan.
Yeah, you heard that. So then I'm thinking, okay, Chuck Schumer was caught, talking to someone in his seat. He was like, "What are you doing in my seat? Get out of there!" But there's no one there. Did you catch that?
Yeah. So what's the theory on that?
No, I was just thinking, that this. Interdimensional realm are they conversing on that level with entities, right? That they're just following them around and say, "What are you doing in my seat, man? Get out of there."
Well, I know from many conversations with different people in that realm, right? That is pretty normal that they would use demons to execute their will and do whatever, right? So. It makes sense that Chuck Schumer, he doesn't really strike me as someone who's gotten rid of his demons, right?
No, they hang out all around him all the time and they take a seat.
Right. So that wouldn't surprise me if he was in a very in-depth conversation and he's so frustrated, right, trying to get things done, and his demon won't do what he's telling him to. That's what it reminds me of. Get out of my seat. No, I'm the boss. No, I'm the boss.
Yeah. Yeah, something like that. So I am seeing that there's this momentum in that direction. So but I'm waiting to just it's almost like it's about to hit, right? And it's all this anticipation, and then with whatever good news you're sitting on, it seems all lining up.
I would say it's definitely is lining up. I will say some tragic news, though. According to Joe Biden, 150 million people
We're
have
dead.
been killed since 2007
Yeah,
because of gun violence.
I know.
Yeah.
That's
So,
amazing. I do think
half the U.S. population. Half the U.S. population.
yeah. I think he may be onto something there. You know. Yeah, but
Yeah.
he maybe drop a couple zeros or so. Maybe. I don't know what it is. 15?
Maybe.
Is it 15,000? I don't know. I don't know what the number is. It's not 150,000. So
150,000 would be really expensive. I mean, I guess I don't know. You couldn't justify it. It's just not true.
yeah, but he is running for senator, so we got to cut him some slack, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I mean, thank God. I thought he was running for president this whole time.
Yeah.
Who's the dumbass? It's me.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So this whole thing. I mean, can anyone possibly take Joe Biden seriously, right? Any of these corpses that they keep trotting up there, it's just so absurd.
Right.
It's so bad. It's so like Mike Bloomberg. I mean, in the world's greatest, worst debate of all time, right? It happened with everyone basically having no orders from above, right? No one knows what to do. So it's just chaos. Are we socialists? Are we pretending to be Democrats? What are we doing here, guys? Like they're all fighting, going crazy. Because usually what they'll do is they'll argue, but they'll prop one of them up, right? And they'll put that one person who shines above them, no matter how stupid their argument is, right?
Did you catch this video comparison of Buttigieg and Obama?
I did, yeah. Same training program, clearly, yeah.
Yeah, they've been schooled exactly the same to say exactly the same things. Now, I saw after this, I saw someone come out and say, "Oh, well, he's just trying to get the black vote, so he's copying Obama." Now, I don't think so, because it's the mannerisms, right? It's the delivery. I mean, it's a cookie cutter. You know, they just put less melanin in this batch, right? You know.
Well,
it's
and also Paul Ryan was part of that same class,
mm-hmm.
right? So it's like they all went through the same whatever, yeah, the same cultural guidance programming,
right.
CIA training. Right,
but look what happened as soon as Buttigieg hit the screen. Everyone identified him as phony immediately. I mean, it was from the very beginning. It wasn't. There's something wrong, something phony about it, right? And so I think
I would say that in their program, he's about 10 years away from being a viable presidential candidate, the way they would run the program, right? But they had to fast track him because they don't have anybody to do it. And they don't have the same access to adrenochrome.
Yeah, he was supposed to go from mayor to governor to president.
Right.
Right. And so they just oops, we need someone. Biden's not holding up. His cloning program has failed. Right. They had a flawed original. Right, so the cloning program for Biden didn't hold up. So
there's this one chief of police or former chief of police on Twitter, man, and we talked to him actually a couple times, and he's been saying he's like they're both clones. They are running they're clone and they're glitching, right? And it's like it's like that Multiplicity or whatever that movie was,
right?
With Michael Keaton. It's like if you make a clone of a clone, it's gonna be a little dimmer.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a little dimmer. Yeah, that's one way of putting it. But when you know that his candidacy is over when all of the commentators are basically taking pity on him. All right.
Well, it's a freaking tragedy. Who is contributing to that campaign? My God, I mean, you can't even launder. Well, I think part of it, though, honestly, I don't think they can. They have always used campaigns as a way to launder money, right? They've always used. I mean, there's all these different ways. They always had their back doors that went through Democratic slush funds with Planned Parenthood.
Right.
Trump just cut their funding. The slush funds cut down, so they can't draw from that, right? So where you'd be overwhelmed with the only one that had liquid cash was Bloomberg.
Oh yeah.
Right.
And the only way for him to pump it into all the candidates was for him to run and take the abuse, right? So, but anyway, I don't think it's going to be him. I think that I think we're really going to see. I think this is being steered, even by Trump, towards Bernie, to be the choice between capitalism, which is going to be booming. It's going to be booming because of the coronavirus.
Because of the coronavirus?
Yeah, because the coronavirus is going to be causing this, tiltering economy, and then Trump is going to say to the Fed, "You got to drop rates. It's an emergency situation. Just drop the rates," and they're going to drop at a point. It's going to go from down 2 points down to 1. on its way to 0, right? But this is going to have such like a shot of adrenaline into the economy. It's just going to blow past the coronavirus scare, right? And it's going to sweep all of this wealth into the hands of every worker, and so when you have the choice between doing really well independently or waiting for a government handout, communism versus capitalism, right? You gotta, the capitalism is going to win out in this argument, and this is going to put to bed around the world communism. I mean, which is still, it's the same cabal, that we're battle that we're fighting, right? The satanic worship, all of it is all on one side. It is the choice, right? Free and independence against debt, slavery, tyranny, and communism. So this is where it's shaping up to be, And so the fight against communism worldwide is what this is about. That's why it's even perfect, for India to be a partner in this deal, because they left communism. Right, Gandhi went towards communism, and it just it wasn't at the base level of society where communism was. They only did communism at the government and in big industry level. They took over all the big industries: electricity, auto manufacturing, telephone, airlines. And all of it was horrible, right? Nothing worked, right?
Because people don't work. What's the point of working more and doing a better job if everybody's getting the exact same thing?
Right, and what it actually saddled India with, beyond the poverty of the masses, because 98% of the population of communism was poor. The 2%, not the 1, but the 2% were the elite, wealthy people, right? They still had great wealth, but everyone else was poor, and plus you didn't have electricity, plus you didn't have phones, and it was very rare to get a car, right?
Right, sure.
And it just that level of poverty was so horrible, and nobody wanted it, and so the government just dropped communism, and they privatized the industries, the car industries, the electricity industry, airlines. As soon as they started doing that, everything started to flow, and I just happened to be able to witness it, because I was I was like 22 years old the first time I went to India, and I got to read all the newspapers, and I got to see it happen, and I've seen how India actually had progressed, and so I think it's a perfect partner as an example to really just show what happens when you basically have the government take over everything, the means of production, and then dictate. And the other thing I think one thing it saddled India with was a level of corruption, and I think that is overlooked. It's not that because people will try and figure a way out, right? People are human, right? Mostly, and you have to have some heart for the people that can't get things. So a black market develops, and from that black market, everything is vibrant, and that's where the corruption sits in, right? So now you start getting the same thing kind of happened in Russia when the USSR broke up, right? You had this oligarchs that appeared, right? These are the ones that became the wealthy, right? Because they were now able to take the black market stuff that they were now doing and make it public or private, right? And not private, but make it into the legit world, right? And they became super wealthy, but they were corrupt. And this corruption was in India, and now they're still dealing with it on a low level, but it's systematized and that. But it's everywhere. The government still has this idea of high level of taxing, right? I think I've mentioned before. I remember that they were. The argument was they had 120% tax rate, and this is why there was two sets of books, right? Every business had two sets of books, a black book and a white book. So all the white is what you declared to the government, because otherwise the government's going to take everything you have. It was 120%. How can it be 120%? Because it had a state and a Fed tax. If you added them up, it was 120%. And so the argument was, hey, we got to reduce this. And they were bringing it down, I remember, because exactly what Ronald Reagan was going through at the time. He had brought down the tax rate from 70% down to, I think it was 38%. I think something like that. Maybe it was 32, something like that. But they were doing the same thing. They brought down their tax rate to 38%. And from that, they were able to really start moving, right? So that was, what really did it. Now you look at the Democrats now here, and they're all talking about raising the taxes. Bernie Sanders saying, "Oh, only on the what the Wall Street's making. That's who's going to pay for it, because Wall Street's going to, pay this tax. A modest amount is what a modest tax on what is made, the capital gains, and that's probably the worst place that you can have a tax is on capital gains. Because you really start getting people to move their money outside the country, trying to safeguard it. So anyway, the whole tax system has to be revamped anyway and rethought. In my positive capitalism idea, I think that this concept can really do well. So because it eliminates all fees, taxes from the government having to collect anything from anyone, because it's not necessary, right? If you just change the system to where there is an accounting and some governance to the money creation, then you don't need to collect. That means it saves everyone all of this hassle. No, everyone is free to use the money. Then you don't have to know wherever all the money is, right? You don't, and you can go after. You don't have to have. So give government the idea of knowing everything that you purchase. Then they start saying, "Oh, well, you're buying too much candy. That food is too salty." Right? So you can't give them even the entry to it. Even now they're talking about, I don't know if you picked up on this, Jordan was talking about the renewing the FISA court.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and there has to be changes to it. I don't think it should exist.
I agree.
Yeah, there's no reason. Listen, if you have, you want to spy externally, right, to the people out there, then fine. If they're talking with Americans on this side, right, there has to be something other than, hey, you're just you want to track everything they're doing. If you want to listen to that one conversation, then you're listening to it because it's the other side, right? They're speaking externally. So I think they've lost their right to use this because it was supposed to have been guarding our rights and it wasn't. So they don't get a second chance. That's the way I see it. They're saying, oh well, that's going to put us in danger. Well, they did it, right? They're the ones that didn't guard it. They were given a sacred responsibility, and they blew it. It's not like, oh, we're bad, let us do it again. So I hear that that they want to put like a citizen advocate in the process, and
Sure.
and that sounds reasonable, but who's picking the citizen advocate? The judge's friend? I mean, who is this citizen advocate? It's just another part of corruption, right? They bring it's only Democratic donors are allowed, just like the only Democratic donors can come into the impeachment, right, and work as people inside this impeachment scenario. That was like one of the most ridiculous things, selling seats, to the impeachment, right, by donation.
Ridiculous. I mean, they've outed themselves as being so corrupt. I mean, you could almost apply that same principle to 90% of the government. I mean, how do you continue to have an FBI when the heads of the FBI, the top level on, everything we've seen is they will conspire to take over the government, right? They think they have that right, and then they will lie to your face so convincingly that anybody listening to them, if they didn't know the details, would just think, look, they're obviously telling the truth. I mean, they're so good at lying, right?
Right.
I mean, Comey doesn't even, James Comey doesn't even bat an eyelash when he lies, right? He'll read something outright and be like, that is very deep intelligence training, right? Like he knows exactly what he's doing. So, across the board, I think you see it everywhere. That's why like Jim Jordan and Matt Gaetz, these guys, in Trump, it's like they're so loved because it's like, no, they actually care, right?
Right.
Nobody cares how much you know until they know how much you care, right? And that's what they do. They show that they care, right? They act this way and they're furious, as you should be.
Yeah.
It's disgusting what's going on, right? You can't just keep lying and saying the wrong thing, walk out of a courtroom after one thing happens, walk out and report something totally different. It happens over and over again. So, but yeah, I really think you're watching these things fall apart, and I really think if President Trump really wants to lock in, despite even their efforts to try to rig things, right? Make sure project funding gets flowing now, because imagine what this country looks like if. Not just this country, but the whole world. But let's just say this country. Now, I know in this country alone, we have about 500 projects, right, that are dynamic. They're going to provide thousands of jobs and hundreds of thousands of jobs, probably. And you got to think imagine that, and it's not just providing jobs, but you're actually doing things that everyone's talked about forever, like building infrastructure across the country, building new highways that don't crack and break down, right? Actually, bringing in new technologies in things like cement and pavement, and introducing these things and rebuilding everything. That's something that everybody can get behind, right?
Yeah.
That's like, even if you're not you don't take a new job, the fact that there's new jobs available and there's jobs that are available where it's like you can do essentially whatever you want, and you can make enough money that one income can support a family, and you get real paychecks. That by itself. You want to talk about who's going to buy into socialism after that, right? If all these millennials actually had the opportunity to, accept, like, really get good jobs, and they started seeing, like, you have your kind of your average slacker group, right? Who, like, thinks that they're entitled to everything. Then you have these other young millennials that are, like, aspiring and innovative and creative and want to do great things, and they start getting great jobs. I bet you'll watch a massive shift happen in the population, where we'll actually start to look for things that are exceptional again, right? We'll look to aspire to be great. We won't look to just get a handout so that we can be sustained and stay home in our parents' basement and play video games.
Yeah. Yeah, well, unless you're really exceptional at playing the video games and can make money at it. Yeah.
Said every 13-year-old across the country, always. Thinks that that's exactly what's going to happen.
World of Warcraft, right? It was like the last RPG type game I played, and I actually built a computer to play it. Right, the high speed, everything, when it first came out, and there was you had the ability to do mining, gold mining, right? And so you could actually literally mine and then get the raw materials, and then you go ahead and build that into where you could then turn it into literally money, and then you could sell that in the exterior world out on eBay. And so I was starting to do that. I said, "Oh, this will be a good business." And then I said, "Oh, I can actually have a whole group of people in, like, Asia, or India, or Philippines. Philippines, I was thinking more about that. They just have the kids play, right? And then they mine, and then I buy all their gold and open a shop in this world, and then sell it exterior to make money." Yep. So I actually looked into doing it. So it is possible. Just saying, but it's still entrepreneurial. You still have to find your market, your niche, what you're good at, and then make it happen. Now, it's probably not the best way to live your life in these worlds ongoing, as that's part of the transhumanism training, right?
Yeah, I mean, like you can't find a video game hardly anymore, But my son was playing this one video game. It's everything in the video game is, like, white, except for the character, which is, like, it's dehumanized, right? It's a human figure, but he looks like almost like the cardiovascular system of the body, right? Like, you can see it's a person, but you can't. There's just kind of lines.
Oh.
And
okay.
and it's really, like, graphic, right? So like, he's showing it to me, like, my sons are, like, conspiracy experts, right? So they're always on it, right? And like, "Dad, look at this," right? So they go through this game, and basically what it does is, like, it puts you in a situation where the only option is to kill yourself, right? I'm like, what?
What?
I mean, it was, like, terrible. Yeah, like, it's like the final option is, like, you have to kill yourself, like. And it's like, and I think that's, like, I don't know if that's how you win the game. That's how you complete it, I guess. It's like, how is that a game available to my 13-year-old son?
Right.
Now, like, my son will play stuff just to show me stuff. They do it all the time. Like, they bring up everything on Jussie Smollett, everything about satanic pedophiles. They show me, anything that's mainstream that, like, is confirming what I've been teaching them, I guess.
Yeah. Good. You've done a good job there. So they're very aware.
Yeah.
Well, you have to be at this time to point this stuff out so that we can stamp it out.
Right.
I was going
to.
There was something come up on my feed line for YouTube, and I was hesitant to go after it. It said the controversy between the old Trek and the new Trek, Star Trek, right? And
Right.
And I'm just wondering, do I want to look at this? Because it's gonna.
because it's history somehow, right? It's like the history of the future. Like, this has happened, or it's happening, and you want to know.
Yeah.
I get it.
I mean, and I know one of the things is the aspect that everyone in all of these new every new show that I watch, half the people are gay, and the only romance is gay romance, With those two girls or two guys, either way, right? But I'm going,
Right.
just
Yeah.
stop already, right? And then where are the hero guys, right? It's always the girls, the 100-pound little girl beating up on the monster. I'm going.
Are you allowed to say that? I think that immediately makes you.
Oh, actually,
racist, misogynist.
YouTube is actually just replacing all the words that I'm saying and putting new words in my mouth. So it doesn't matter, right? So, but yeah, so that's that's one of the things. Is like I don't even want to watch anymore. I literally turned off Batgirl. I mean, it was the first thing I watched, and it was like, she's already making out with another girl in the first 10 minutes. I go, okay, that's over. I just don't want to see, because it's just too much, right? And I know the agenda here ends up in death to, the killing off of all of humanity. Right? It's
it's actually getting to be it's so common that they're making it offensive, right?
Yes, that's it.
So it's like it used to be like it was such an anomaly that like you'd watch it just because it was novel, right?
Right.
But now they've made it so common it's backfiring on them, right?
Yeah.
So
it's like I'm angry about it, right? I have the right to my righteous indignation about it because I know that ultimately this is to depopulate and literally eliminate the human condition, right? Just eliminate it. To what we consider human, they want to erase. They want to erase it, and that is wrong, and we should be angry about it. So
I agree.
It's just the whole. I'm just glad to see that this is that we now have a footing, and we're now in winning this battle, right? It's actually we've already won. We just have to clean up the tub from the scum from everything going down the drain, right? Now it's gonna scrape the sides.
Yeah, it's really this is the most exciting time I've ever seen. There's a notable shift, right? We have reached critical mass, and there's a shift in the direction of humanity, right?
Yeah.
That's invigorating because especially if you've been watching this for a long time, watching them tear down people, right? They tear down people for being people, right? All the different ways that everybody's, that they try to make everybody feel guilty about being human. Yeah. And I think the gig is up, because think of how this would have grown years ago with Antifa, right? Like Antifa was such a mess, right? I mean, who wanted to be part of Antifa? But you're not really hearing about it as much now, right? Because I think their funding's out. I don't think they can fund.
Oh, that might be, yeah. Without funding, who's going to want to do this stuff? And right. It's especially the other thing is that they're being ridiculed so badly, right? Because of the people that's mostly attracting, right, are the beta males. Maybe I'm sure. Right, and the beta males are now being made fun of, right? So even putting on a hood and that, who wants to go into that situation? They were doing it because they were feeling like they were alpha. Right, it made them feel like they were alpha.
A bunch of beta males and alpha females, right?
Yeah. Who
are like wearing masks. And first of all, if you're doing something that's good, you don't need a mask, right? Like if you're doing something that's righteous, you're not hiding, right?
Well, I think that whole thing was literally to cover the coordinator so that they wouldn't be found out. Because everyone's wearing a mask, you couldn't identify them. Right. So that their organizers could go from city to city to city, right? And then they would be able to blend in, but still organize. That's what it's all about. It was just camouflage for their leaders. Just like Ilana Omar being discovered at the Antifa rallies, right? Because she was discovered because she wasn't covering up enough of her face, and then her
Yeah.
her new boyfriend slash manager
Yeah, her handler. Yeah.
or handler. I don't
Yeah.
know. He seems more like a. He doesn't seem much like a handler to me, but I guess it could be.
So this is where So I guess Rudy Giuliani did some kind of live at 3 o'clock today, right? Where he interviews some Ukrainian whistleblower.
I watched it. I watched a good portion of it. This guy's great. He's fantastic. Yeah, I'm actually surprised he's actually here. Like I guess he got a visa to come.
Oh, I'm sure he got very special escort.
Yeah, remember because Giuliani was saying, the State Department, the embassy was blocking all of these Ukrainians that wanted to come here to testify. Right, and so I guess that broke through because I think he was asking Lindsey Graham for help in moving those people through and getting their visas. So maybe that happened. Maybe it wasn't Lindsey, but at least we see he's there. But he laid it out so well. Did you watch it?
No, I didn't get a chance. So is that the actual lawyer that got fired? Is that what it was?
No, he's. He is a government official, but he had many roles. But he was always part of the organization, organizing and moving things around. And but he laid it out, and I mean, he's devastating to the whole Democratic Party, from Obama all the way down. He's devastating because he's literally saying that it was all the Democrats that were doing these things to the country. And even when they tried to they wanted to become, they wanted to eliminate their corruption, and the Americans were coming in and saying we're training you to get rid of corruption, but they were training them how to be corrupt, more refined corruption, right, and bigger amounts. And it seemed to me like they were actually set up in a big way. One of the oligarchs, the previous outgoing president, stole all the money, left them with like $800,000 or something left in their accounts when he left. Right? It's probably whatever didn't get cleared that day. So they had no money. So this money that was coming in from the U.S. was like highly needed. So we're coming in and we're going to teach you how to eliminate corruption. Here, Joe, you're the point man. And it was really how to, be corrupt, and take the bigger amounts of money. And so all this money has disappeared. And he's saying, we don't know where it is. And where's the paper trail? But he pulled out one document, that was kind of really just amazing. That was basically talking about here's where, the money distribution was, right? And so this is a secret document, he had just got a hold of it. So
wow, really?
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah, so it's amazing. All this is going to really just. The funny thing is, I haven't watched any of Rudy's 10 previous ones or 9 previous ones, except maybe the half of the first one. I said, okay, I'm waiting. And I just kept pushing it off and pushing off. I said, I said, I'm going to just listen to Rudy all straight in a row, right? And like do a binge watch to catch the whole thing in one fell swoop, right? But then I just happened to say, well, let me see this guy, right? And I said, oh, he's here. Or, in I guess with Rudy, in America and doing this interview. It's devastating. He also was talking about the Carmel guy in the White House, and how he was essential in this whole organizing of the corruption. Right. So I mean, this is why they didn't want his name talked about, right? Because once this just lays out, the impeachment just is so phony. It's just how phony the whole thing is, and how coordinated it was with the White House. That's why they're all going down. I mean, from Obama all the way down. I don't know how many of the people inside Congress are going to be able to stand there. Really.
Yeah, I think you're gonna have a lot of people stepping down. It's gonna be great. You know, what do you think about this, man? I saw when the Anon posted Q, right? Said 316 local events will start to be canceled because of the coronavirus. 323, U.S. will go into CV quarantine. 3 weeks shortly after martial law will be declared. Coronavirus is a White House op and not a real threat. 7 trumpets, question mark, 7 presidential emergency texts, question mark, 7 Trump emergency texts, question mark, 7 Trump Eastern Standard Time. 3:30, U.S. will return to gold standard, so March 30th. And then April 12th, first arrest predicted by Q, WHO. This will start to awaken mass public.
What are you reading? Where is that?
It's one of the Anon texts.
Oh, really? What's the number?
Yeah.
What number is it?
I guess it's from 217, but I haven't seen it. Number 816-2329.
Oh. Well, there's only 4 digits in their posts. We're at 3890 right now.
I don't know that. Let's see. I mean, that was the numbers I saw.
Can you share the screen? Can you share the screen then?
Sure. Mm-hmm. You got it.
Oh,
720 in July, full alien ET disclosure will occur. Highly, highly doubt that.
I see. Okay.
First arrest is predicted by Q to be April 12th. That's interesting. Wonder why. Yeah, I don't know if this is true. This is part of the. There's like a big controversy, isn't there, with Q right now? With some of them want they want all this full disclosure, but it's like it's the mass collapse. It wouldn't end well. It would basically, they're trying to maintain society is what they're talking about. That's why it's going this way. That's why the plan is the way it is.
Yeah, I'm still looking for that particular post. Interesting.
Yeah, I don't go into 8con or can or whatever it is now.
8kun.
Oh, yeah. 8kun.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, but we'll see. I mean, there's been like crazy UFO sightings all over the planet. So, I mean, I guess that's something that could potentially start to actually come out. I mean, I feel like it's so secondary right now. It's like, hey, let's get rid of the aliens we had in office, the corrupt side of the galactics, or those who think they're galactics, I guess, and go from there. I'm telling you, everybody, I'm sure most people have listened to this who follow us, but the 825 from 2017 with THI, I mean, that thing is worth listening to a few times. It's really amazing the way those things are broken down.
Yeah.
I mean, it's incredible. It gives you like a whole history lesson you didn't know existed.
From for what date?
8/25, August 25th, 2017.
Okay. Yeah. So I'll go review that one. 8/25. Okay. Well, it'll be good.
And then on the I think it's called Circle of Wonder or something like that, or something like that from Ireland. When Kim went on the other day, she was talking about. She said by the end of the year, she expects that everyone will be doing their own thing, right? So clearly, for that to happen, there's going to have to be a transition period where, we're actually, funded and things are moving. And watching them collapse, all these CEOs. Dan Bongino put out a report of all the CEOs, like not all, but like a whole list of new CEOs that just stepped down.
Wow.
I was like, wow, that's some big, heavy hitting numbers.
Yeah. They're all moving to New Zealand.
That's gonna be the worst place to live in the world. Beautiful from what I hear too.
Yeah. Not far from me actually. So I was thinking, maybe it's a good idea to go and visit. I saw one YouTube video where the guy that was looking for bunkers, these private bunkers.
Oh yeah, really?
Because they're these very wealthy people are moving to New Zealand and they're building bunkers.
Right, because they haven't got the memo that we're not going with that plan anymore.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Well, maybe they need to go. Isn't there? Maybe they do go, and then they end up. A big earthquake happens. They all get sealed underneath.
Maybe.
Yeah.
It's interesting because one of the technologies that's in our network, right, in our pipeline to bring out are these cure for hunger biodomes, right?
Mm.
Now that is Lockheed Martin, Skunk Works technology, right? That was buried, and he got the permission to bring it out. But you can see how the way it's set up is that those are designed that you could build them underground, right? And maintain a sterile environment because you don't need any insecticide or anything like that because it's a sterile environment, right?
Right.
It keeps everything out. It keeps everything good in. And it's got this really, the technology on it is incredible, right? Even the generators, it's all run on free energy and atmospheric water generators. So it's you can see how things like that, that tech has been around since the 70s, right?
Yeah.
So obviously they've been planning, to do this, right? To basically destroy the surface of the planet.
Yeah.
and then they were the elite were all going to hide underground. And they come out and admitted this in places. They've said that there's these elite bunkers, right, where certain people would be selected, to perpetuate the species afterwards. So, which I don't know how they would do that, because everybody would be transgender who they'd bring in. This whole elite group of people that, can't reproduce.
Right? Well, they didn't get that memo.
Yeah. It seems like somebody would be like, wait a minute. So we're pushing the transgender thing, and we're going to destroy everything, take all those people and put them in bunkers underground to reproduce and perpetuate.
But don't worry, we're taking your consciousness and putting it into an android body.
Right.
You'll be just fine.
Kim said that at one point it was 97% automated, right? The whole planet was, right? That because, and I've talked about this before, that because the frequencies that were put out were so deafening to our mental capabilities, right? That they constantly controlled our mind, right? So our decisions, everything we were doing was constantly being ruled by, what they were doing. So I'm dying to ask her what it is now, because she reversed it on me, right? So she took all the technology they use and she used it as a access point to bring in source energy, right? That essentially will allow you to increase your frequency and make your own decisions, right?
Yeah.
You'd be attuned to things that you weren't before. So even if your kids were, zoned out on iPads, they're still getting bombarded with real source energy. So it's kind of interesting. Everything they think is going to destroy us, we take it, turn it into something better, use it to make us stronger.
Yeah. Well, see, the thing is, they're doing everything against nature, right? So, like for example, you build a dam, right? You're going up against nature, right? You're going to control the water, right? And you'll be successful for a while, but eventually that dam gets overrun, right? And it basically just gets torn down, and the natural flow continues. So you can only hold up against it for a while. So it's just a ludicrous to basically think that you're going to be able to, invert all of creation. And that's what they really try to do. Inverting everything. Man to woman, woman to man. Then you don't need. Then it basically eliminates sex, right? You don't need no sex. Then how you reproduce? You don't reproduce. You clone. And since all the clones are defective, they're only good enough to basically turn a wrench and push a button.
Right. Yeah, Kim said this about she said how everything in her interactions were essentially so because they want to harness source energy, they want to control it, but they can't, right? So, but we naturally, are a great source of source energy, right? She talked about these, the source of life being like the father figure, right? Then the earth being like the mother, right? And them creating this kind of crystalline energy, I guess, and how that's normal. That's a normal substance of source. These crystals are the product of God above and God within the earth, right? Kind of coming together to create something, and then creating an independent energy source, which I just find this stuff to be fascinating, because it's like, it's science, it's not just, fairy tales, right? Like this stuff really exists this way, you know. And so, but we are, natural law. Kim always says she's bound by natural law. So, and really, so is everything else. So, returning the planet to a natural state right now should be pretty exciting.
Yeah. I hear some background noise there, but actually, it's probably a good time to break this off because I'm going to have to get going now. Also see the rain is picking up here. So, but thanks for doing this early. If you want to go back to an earlier time, we can also do something like that. If that works out. But I'm trying to remain flexible about the way we want. But I don't know if because I feel like keeping you up to 2 a.m. doing the program and you fall asleep. No, I'm.
I know.
Your volume got low again. Your volume's low.
Oh.
There you go.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to say goodbye to that. It was a whole softball thing going down to kick ass. So
yeah,
I'm going to get loaded out. So you have a great night. Appreciate the call, Dan. Safe trip to Manila. Okay.
All right. Good night, everyone. Thanks for coming early. We'll do back to I guess the same time tomorrow. Our normal time tomorrow. Please go ahead and give a positive messages, thumbs up, subscribe, and we'll see you tomorrow.